Hello, beautiful friends. It's amazing to read all your wonderful comments and just such great sharing. I saw someone posting code, I think 20 from the 33 codes. And I think it said, lose your mind. What was it? And liberate your nature, something like that. I love that because that's what we are doing. We are today, again, participating in this expansion of consciousness. So everything that I teach comes from experience. So very well tested, I would say. I test it every day and expand even more so. And so I'll be sharing the techniques that I use and that I've tested in this lifetime. So number one, why are we on this planet right now? We are on this planet right now because we are truly expanding the light of God that is within us, through us, into this world. We are anchoring the light of the divine into this world. Very often when I work with the councils, they say, well, just be here. That's the biggest mission, just be here. And then of course, be conscious, because that is the whole key. Consciousness equals light, but consciousness also equals love. Now, the light of the divine, people can perceive it in many different ways. There are many different frequencies of light, of course. We work with all the beautiful light that creates the 12-dimensional rainbow. Our 12-dimensional rainbow is really our blueprint. When we first were created billions, trillions of years ago to come here, invited to come through the central spiritual sun, through our source into this world, we said, okay, yeah, we can go into density. The density will be okay. And I'll explain that why it was meant to be okay. We will just really condense time and space reality. And we will be practicing creating in that very dense time and space reality. But of course, we are creator beings, but we are practicing. Everything is about really experimentation in creation. And so we didn't see an issue with this. There was not meant to be an issue with this. And we said, okay, it's very easy. We'll have our Christ self, every single one of us. And, again, here is a picture of Christ self embodied in Krishna. And of course, we always hear about Jesus being the embodiment of the Christ self, but the Christ self is something that we all have. It is our pathway to higher dimensions. And we are in a world, very big world, that really is not known to the science because it cannot be really visible. We are in a world that is very big. It is the solar world. So solar light is really important. We have many different suns, and each sun, really, it's a different consciousness. And we are here exchanging consciousness with the solar energies that come to us from all the different suns. But of course, we have our very physical sun that we all can see, feel, and interact with, which I highly recommend, being every day in touch with our physical sun. Our physical sun is also not just physical. Our sun actually is a very advanced being, consciousness. And so is the earth. And so these amazingly advanced beings agreed to create reality so that we can practice and experience. So Divine Mother told me we were all created perfect. And yesterday we listened to that PhD guy on Gaia who shared his own Kundalini awakening experience. And he was told by God, by Source, all men were created equal. And of course, women. And so here we are, all created equal. We have the same geometry, the same 12-dimensional design. This is not just some gift, that some of us have. This is all in us. And so we are helping each other here to activate this pathway so that we can have direct access to not only our highest self, our Christ self, our divine self, and source, of course. And so how do we do this? Well, when we originally came, we said, okay, this is going to be so easy. We have our Christ self, we have our rainbow body, we have our connection to source, and we'll just be here. And this was the time of Mu. And we will just receive this amazing rainbow light. Of course, it comes as rainbow light into you. So it comes down into you. It has to go into the essence of who you are, which goes through the higher mind, your divine mind. It goes into your heart center, and not the heart center that we know really as a chakra. It is more a spiritual heart. So it goes into the spiritual heart. And of course, ideally, you are filled with love because that was the original design. And as you are filled with love, you can only express love out from yourself. So this is beautiful. You inhale the light of God, you exhale the light of God, but when you exhale it, you multiply, you become like Divine Mother. She is the multiplying force. And so you too said, I will be the one who multiplies life force into more love. So this is what we all agreed to at the beginning of all things in Mu. It was so simple. So I remember many different incarnations in Mu. And you know, some of them are very, very out of this world, kind of etheric. We came in very subtle bodies. Some of them actually were more almost like being angelic elemental. And then we got a little bit more and more and more into the body till finally, I do believe firmly from all my lifetimes in Mu that we all had brown skin. And that would be the original peoples. And all of us that I remember, we were in beautiful, big, blissful bodies with brown skin, Polynesian, Australian, African. And so to me, that was the continent of Mu. And actually what's really funny, being, you know, in white skin in this lifetime, it means nothing because actually, you know, you've experienced all of it. But when I saw the beings of unconsciousness coming into planet Earth, that's the first time I saw white skin. And it was one of the lifetimes in Mu that I saw them coming from what I call elsewhere. They came from somewhere else. And I was looking at these beings and they all had white skin actually. So, you know, today that's a different world, but I thought it was a funny story to looking at the big history of planet Earth and all the civilizations and continents we had here. And so in Mu, we were living in divine bliss. We understood that we all have source, and that source emanates light. We could see it. So we had fully open the spiritual sight. That was our nature. Because to me, the fact that we don't see right now, all of us, or many of us, or most of us in this world, to me, that's a disability, really. It's a divine disability, meaning, you know, we just need to restore our own seeing once again, our own really ability to see life force again. Because if we all could see how this works all the time in every single split moment, no one in this world would choose to use life force without love. Because we would see what it does to life force. When you can see life force as it comes like this, the beautiful rainbow light, then of course you want to be in high responsibility. High responsibility, not because someone would punish you or you would have karma later. First of all, no one will punish you, but the karma is real. So whenever we take in life force, it is our utmost responsibility, divine responsibility, to use this life force with love. And that's what we used to do. And then unconsciousness came into planet Earth and we started to make a mess out of all of this. So Yogananda always says, you know what, you guys, all of us here, we came here to clean up the mess. So that's why we work with the violet flame. That's why we work with the fire of God. That's why we do whatever techniques we have to purify the being every single day, to purify the mental body, purify the emotional body, purify the etheric body. And then of course, it is very simple, the laws of physics. The lighter you become, the higher you can go, but you're only going within yourself. So I'll show you the techniques that I've learned in this lifetime from mainly Yogananda on the inner planes, and some of the things we also practice with Patricia Cota Robles. So today is a little bit more practice instead of meditation as we usually do. So the practice is number one. Your physical body is an amazing technology that connects you to this multidimensional reality. I was showing yesterday that our multidimensional reality really can be accessed from within. As you have 12-dimensional structure within yourself, you know, we've been living in a very limited expression of our own being, but we are now returning to the 12-dimensional structure. It is back here with all of us, so we all can do this. So that means really connecting with the 12 aspects of light within yourself, within your spiritual spine, your celestial spine, which goes even beyond your physical body. It goes into your non-physical bodies. You have 12 centers that connect you to 12 dimensions. So we live in a 12-dimensional reality. You know, we are actually a tree of life that has 12 centers, And among these centers is a pathway, and we are just following the pathway. So how do we open up this pathway? So number one, we do use our physical body. So if you are a disciple of Yogananda, for example, there are so many different techniques. So personally, I went through the Self-Realization Fellowship, which I would call an initiation process in a way. It's a very long process. I personally think we don't have so much time for this anymore because we need to be really quick so that we every day are in our highest potential. So for example, Sadhguru, he teaches this, I think, in 2 or 3 days. So very different, but it's the same process. He calls it inner engineering. It's very similar. The idea is we want to awaken the fullness of what is already inside of us. So I'll share the technique that I use personally. So number one, you want your spine to be flexible, bending forward if you can, and then also bending not just forward, but I didn't find all the pictures that I needed to find, but going to your right leg, going to your left leg, going to your right leg, going to your left leg. So just making sure that your spine is flexible, if you can, of course. So some people obviously have injuries and so on, so please just follow your own intuition. But bending the spine to me is the key. If I don't do any exercise in my life, bending the spine is a really, really important practice to have, because it is within your nervous system that you are actually going upwards to your highest dimension. And so, for example, in the morning, it's a great idea to bend the spine and be flexible. And also before you go to bed, if you want to have, these amazing experiences in the middle of the night, you want your spine to be the highway to God, which it is. So today I will be sharing these practices, like you can call it the breathing for higher consciousness. Why the breath is so important? Well, I've experienced breath that actually my guides taught me. And so I was really blown away to what breath can do. And breath really is the opening technology. It opens up the channels within your 12-dimensional structure. It opens up the channels in your physical and non-physical body. And of course, if you are open, then these higher cosmic energies, higher galactic energies, the universal energies, the really source light can flow to you fully and completely. And we just want to open up. So there's much to be discovered within our own self. So I'll share the few techniques that I use. Number one, breath of fire. I really have had the biggest expansion in my life through the breath of fire. And that is, if you are familiar with the breath of fire, for example, it's a very important technique for Kundalini yoga. And so learning the breath of fire to me is super easy. It is simply kind of like pumping air through your nose, but you are pumping from your lower belly. So your entire body becomes a pump, and you're pumping not of course just oxygen, but you are through your nose pumping really source light, source energy, prana, chi, life force. And you are awakening yourself to the next, I do breath of fire every day at sunrise. I do it standing outside, but also in my meditation room, sitting down. It doesn't matter how you sit or how you stand, as long as you know how to pump. And so if you have Gaia TV, you can find all of this on YouTube actually, but I'm going to go to Gaia TV. My favorite Kundalini teacher is Guru Mukh. And you can find very short videos that she did. They are on Gaia. I think they are for free on YouTube as well. That's why I'm sharing them. And this breath of fire, always approach your breathing technique as if you've never done it before and expect a miracle. So for example, I've been doing breath of fire forever. And then one day, I think it was like last year, I'm sitting in my meditation room, I start breathing, and suddenly the breath of fire becomes something of its own. Kind of takes over the body remembers what to do, and then the body does what it was designed to do, and that is to connect you with our highest self. So this is the way that Guru Mukh teaches it. So join her. You don't have to have your arms up. You can have them in your lap. It's totally fine. You can be sitting, standing, sitting on a chair, cross-legged, whatever you want to do. It's about the breath. And first she teaches it like panting like a dog. You don't have to do it if you already know the breath of fire. But if you don't know it, this is how we learn it.
like the biggest wings that you've ever felt or ever seen. Take the fingers, press them on the mouths, and pull the thumbs away from your fingers. We're going to do what we call the breath of fire. It's the most powerful breath given to us as human beings. It can clean and heal and energize and bring a radiance and health and beauty to you in as little as 1 minute. If you open your mouth, stick your tongue out, and begin to pant like a dog. This is how we learn breath of fire. From your belly, deep from your belly. Come on, get the tongue out and really pant. That's it. Now take it a little more aggressive, a little bigger, a little louder, a little more powerful. Pull those thumbs away from your fingers. Now close your mouth with that same breath through the nose. Good. Keep it going a little bit more. Moving the energy through your body. And inhale, hold it there. Very slowly, have your thumbs come all the way up to touch over the top of your head.
So this is just a quick demonstration of the breath of fire. If you are familiar with the breath of fire, then you know that when you close your eyes, you actually see energy moving through your spine, through the channels of your life force, and they go up. So you saw how it is the lower belly that moves. This breath is not difficult at all. The teacher is Guru Mukh. So I really like her teachings of Kundalini Yoga. And if you didn't do any other breath, this breath every day will liberate the life force within you. And also if you see energy, you see how the energy is moving towards your third eye. And that is really when we want the energy to be. Today we'll be speaking about the third eye, how to open it. But I'll take you through more breathing practices. So if you can, breathe with us. There are only a few breaths that I do that actually really activate our consciousness. The key is, of course, the breath connects you with your spirit. The breath connects you with your divine self. The breath liberates the channels so that you can be filled up, so that you can be in the flow, and so that you can activate the full 12-dimensional tree of life within you. So this is just the way that I would do it. So why would we do, so this is called the alternate nostril breathing. Super easy. Again, none of these are difficult. There are some breathing techniques that are very difficult to do. And we have wonderful yoga teachers here. For example, I see Olivia here. So if you have any questions, you can always message Olivia and learn from her. But the thing is that some breathing techniques are so complicated, but these ones are super simple. Breath of fire, and then alternate nostril breathing. This is also activating. So if you have problems with sinuses, just try, maybe just try deep nostril breathing. So the idea is that we are always activating the 12-dimensional spine within us. The spine is the highway to Godhead. And truly, once you experience these expanded states, you will realize it really, and thank you, Lynn, for posting that as well, that the breath really assists. And when you go into higher consciousness, when you have, for example, you're meditating and suddenly the next layer opens up for you, you will see that your body will react with breath. So, for example, when you look at children, how they breathe, and then you look at an adult who's been around for a while, we actually forget how to breathe naturally, and our breath kind of gets stuck, and many of us even kind of hold the breath inside. So we want to open up to spirit. We want to open up to this amazing Godhead that is really within us as we are connected to our highest self, our divine self. And so we'll start with activating the spinal channel. So we live in a world that is out of balance. The world is out of balance because the right and left hemisphere is out of balance. Our heart center is out of balance. And of course, the spinal channels are out of balance. Otherwise, we all would be fully awake, fully enlightened. The thing is that the earth herself has been out of balance since she is still tilted, and she is realigning herself, sending her north and south pole to a different location. This is all working through our body, and we are now working with the earth, with the element of ether and air and fire and the water within us, of course, with the earth. We are aligning with the changes taking place in this world. So the way that this alternate nostril breathing is taught, that you always first inhale through the left nostril. So the recording of this will be on YouTube, but again, you can just find the simple videos. So the way that you do it, it doesn't matter which finger you actually take to cover up the other nostril. So there are many different teachings, but we'll keep it simple. Whatever is comfortable for you. We cover up one nostril, inhale through the left, then we exhale through the right, but we inhale through the same, so right. And then again, we exhale through left, inhale through left, and so on and so on. So again, I found a video for us here that will show us a little bit of breathing. This all as we practice, it's a practice. So we want to be practicing it. Let me close Gurumukh, and here we go. So again, if you want to join us and practice with us, it's very simple. Again, it doesn't matter which fingers you take. So this is a little bit of breathing practice for a few minutes.
Adopt the Nasagra Mudra with the right hand. Close the right nostrils with the thumb. Inhale and exhale through the left nostril 5 times.
This preparation.
So inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Make sure the right nostril is completely closed. Then release the thumb and place pressure on the left nostril with the ring finger, blocking the flow of air. Inhale and exhale through the right nostril 5 times. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. When you're done, remove the fingers from the nostril and breathe normally 5 times through both nostrils. Now, let's practice alternate nostril breathing. So first, you can inhale from the left, then exhale from the right, inhale from the right, and exhale from the left. Adopt Nasagra Mudra again. Close the right nostril with the thumb. Inhale through the left nostril. Count mentally 1, 2, 3. And then slowly close the left nostril and exhale and count 1, 2, 3. Again, inhale from the left and exhale from the right. The time for the inhalation and exhalation should be equal. So if you can go up to 5, great. If you can go up to 10, great. One round consists of inhaling from the left, exhaling from the right, inhaling from the right, and exhaling from the left. So now, do 5 rounds of this. The best time to practice this is in the early morning before sunrise, and the second best time is in the evening after sunset. Pranayam is ideally done after asana practice. It is also important to perform pranayam on a fairly empty stomach at least 3 hours after eating. We practice Nadi Shodhana to balance both the brain hemispheres and both nervous systems. It relieves stress, anger, and anxiety, bringing about mental calmness. It helps decrease pressure on the heart by dropping the blood pressure, and generally beneficial for those with respiratory diseases such as bronchitis and asthma. When you're done, remove the fingers from the nostril and breathe normally 5.
And we always want to end with exhale on the left nostril. So again, we'll go back to the slide so that you see. So this is an amazing practice. What we are really activating is our original blueprint, the blueprint that we came here with, the blueprint that we brought with us when Mu was really a paradise. We didn't need to do this actually in Mu because that was our nature. We were breathing properly. We were fully activated. So all that we are learning now, we are restoring our wholeness and our 12-dimensional fullness. So I was working with Yogananda for several years, and it is really the guru, your inner teacher or divine mother as the ultimate guru who can give you initiations. And on the inner planes, this is a very, very powerful experience, which always is a transmission of light. And it is light that is magnetic and light that is electric. So you can ask Yogananda, you can ask your inner teacher, you can ask Divine Mother that when you are ready, you are given these really etheric initiations, transmissions, always to take you to the next level. And you will see that these initiations actually are given through your nervous system, through your 12-dimensional spine. So after practicing with Yogananda, which was the first masterclass that I taught, then it was many years later that he came and he taught me about the hamsa breath. And this is the breath we will practice now. This breath activates our 12-dimensional spine. It activates our 12-dimensional being that we are, and it connects us to Source. So you can think of Source, Divine Mother, Godhead, God, whatever you want to call it, the ultimate I am, as the place. It is really a place where we go within our really 12-dimensional structure, the tower that we are. We go to the top of it. And that's when we inhale on hum. So we go from the bottom and we inhale going up. And we internally chant hum. It's very simple. The movement is in and out. The sound is hamsa. On hum, you go up. You touch God. You touch Divine Mother. You touch Source. And then on out breath, you go down to the base of your 12-dimensional spine and sound sa in your head. Obviously, you're going to be breathing and chanting at the same time. And so we go hum sa, hum sa. And on hum, we go in. And that means we go up. On out breath, we go down. Sa. So let's do it together for a few times. So again, we go up, hum. We inhale, hum, all the way up. Touch God. Sa. Exhale, down. Inhale, up, hum. Exhale, down, sa. So we create really the movement within us, going up to God, down to the base, up to God, down to the base, and we go hum, sa, all within. This practice, to me, when the guru gives it to you directly, through the nose, always through the nose when we do these sacred breathing techniques. So breath of fire is done through the nose. Hamsa is done through the nose. And it is actually down through the nose and the spine. So we engage the spinal column, really. We engage our spiritual spine and we breathe through the spine like an elevator. So it's an elevator to God, one way to think about it. So we go up through the elevator. Let's do it one more time. Up through the elevator to God, hum. And down through the elevator of your spine, sa. So hamsa, hamsa. So I say, practice for a few moments whenever you feel like it. And even maybe sometimes, we can be out of balance, and not because of our own doing. Sometimes we can be out of balance because we are out of balance with energy that is changing so rapidly on planet Earth. And so I recommend to everyone to go outside, practice hamsa for a few moments. It doesn't have to be long at all. But that is a statement. You make a statement within yourself. and your divine self is engaged immediately. So the goal, of course, is to be fully embodying the fullness of your true nature, which is your 12th dimensional sacred circle of your rainbow light. This sacred circle is really the light of our Christ self. So we will be working until the 22nd. And the 22nd is the day of the equinox as well. And so that's the day when we will be embodying fully our 12th dimensional self as Christ into us. So I go to the base of actually my spine, but it really doesn't matter. Visualize it any way you want to do it. So, you know, it is always your divine self that will guide you. And sometimes the divine self will also change the breath for you. It really depends on your guidance, but this is what Yogananda taught me. And so our goal is to once again go back to the original rainbow body that we all have and had. Every single one of us still has rainbow within us. For some people it's very dim, for some people it's very bright, but it's never lost. And we are just reactivating the fullness of it. So this light is in all things too, since it is the light of the divine. It is in all of nature. You can see it emanating actually from nature. You can see it emanating from animals, from the earth. You can see it emanating from the sun, from the plants, and so on and so on. So this rainbow light is the creative light. So I'm going to teach you a method how I open my third eye. This is practice, and honestly, I always say don't make it your focus. But if it starts happening to you naturally, go with it and know how to enhance it. From my experience, the opening of the spiritual eye happens naturally, just like nature. And so it is all our nature. It is all our true nature. And our true nature is to have the sight so that we can see this. We can see how it runs through us. And so that we can adjust it if we need to adjust it, of course, so that we can use it to create. And so the way that I started doing it opens through meditation, but how does it all start? So let's say you're sitting in meditation, you have your eyes closed, you are upright, you want to be upright mainly. I highly recommend practicing actually in upright position because of the spine, of course, to be connected through this multi-dimensional spine to your highest self, to your divine self, and to connect within you. And you're sitting in meditation. Now, this is the funny thing about the third eye. The best time to actually attempt or practice opening of the third eye is when you are really tired, but not tired enough to sleep, but tired enough to take a nap, but you're not going to take a nap. And the reason for that is that the mind gets very, very quiet when we are tired, when we feel like taking a nap, and we actually go into meditation instead. Also, the nervous system is tired when we are tired. And so it's also good. We want a very quiet nervous system. So to me, the worst time to practice would be like if you drink coffee after you have a cup of coffee, that's probably not the best time to practice. Or if you just exercised and you are running around and, you know, you are buzzing. So I practice, you can practice laying down, but I practice sitting up. It can actually open when you're laying down too, of course. So I knock on my third eye with 1 or 2 fingers. Just knock a few times on your third eye. Knock on your forehead. Create a little bit of pressure. This is how Divine Mother opened my third eye. You know, she can come and open it even more than ever before. And she will do it through actually knock and a pressure. So once you've knocked on your third eye, you now, with your eyes closed, actually feel a little bit of buzzing energy moving in your third eye, right? So this is what I also do in the middle of the night if I want to open my third eye while I'm in bed laying down. So sitting up, laying down, it's all good. So there are 2 times when I open my third eye, unless it opens by itself. And that is either I'm sitting in meditation or I'm laying in bed in the middle of the night and I know that I'm tired, but I can't sleep, which is the perfect time to do it. So you knock on your third eye, again, in your bed, in your meditation chair, doesn't matter. And you create a little bit of energy in your third eye. You close your eyes and you look with your eyes closed into that place that is now buzzing with energy. So you can still feel it. You feel where the eyes need to look. And because you're looking up and you're looking into the center of your forehead, you actually slightly cross your eyes to be able to do it. So you lift your gaze, but also cross kind of your gaze into the middle point. And at this point, you can again knock on your forehead. And I just had the opening of my third eye just because, you know, I've practiced so much this, but you can immediately, if you already know how this works, you will see light in your third eye, or you will see spinning. And you engage your breath, and you can engage hamsa, or you can engage simply breathing in and out slowly, in and out. Just slow breath, doesn't have to be hamsa, but you get the idea. The idea is to engage the breath, engage the third eye, engage the body. And it's not difficult, it's just practice. And once you have it, to me, it's like a muscle. And the muscle, now you've activated the muscle, and then it's easy. You just go back and it's like driving. You remember how to drive the next time, or going on a bike, you know? And so let us practice a little bit. So we knock on the forehead a few times. You can do it with your knuckle, you can do it with your fingertip, a little bit of pressure. Inhale with your eyes closed deeply, engaging the spine. Always engage the spine in your breath, meaning the elevator is within you, and the elevator is going to take you higher and higher into your own expansion. And cross your eyes, lift your gaze, and just for a moment, focus on this point of the third eye from within, as if you are really gazing into the back of your forehead. And this is really activating, of course, for your pineal gland. And I found the best chant that always works, and that is the chant of Om. Now, Om is the ultimate chant of creation, the sound of creation that can be actually heard in the ethers if you attune your inner hearing. So you start silently chanting Om. So let's chant Om together in your head, silently, into your third eye, and just sounding the sound of Om internally. So there are a lot of bits and pieces, right? You holding your gaze in your third eye, you breathing deeply in and out through your spine. You keep the focus and concentration on the inner third eye. And at the same time, you chanting in your head, Om, Om. And it can be long, it can be short, it doesn't matter, whatever sound. So just internally. Om. And you can create vibration internally as you chant silently into the back of the third eye, the back of the forehead, really. And you can visualize the vibration chanting through the third eye from the inside out. So this eventually, you know, it's a lot of practice. Sometimes I do this for 45 minutes in the middle of the night until something happens. Sometimes I fall asleep because it's a very long process. Sometimes it's super quick. After a few minutes, bam, it opens up. Sometimes it doesn't open up at all because, you know, maybe the focus is not there, maybe the energy is not there. So don't be discouraged if nothing happens. I have a great example. I've been teaching this to my husband for 8 years, and he just recently was able to do this after many, I don't know how much he practiced, but I just want to say it is practice and it is worthwhile. And for some of us, it can be super quick and sometimes not. And again, you can practice when you're tired in your meditation. And I want to say this really helps when we are tired because again, it's easier. So for example, when I go to Mount Shasta, I like to do very long meditations. And so my family goes, you know, fly fishing, and so I'm alone. And then I just play Orin for 90 minutes. So all of us probably know Orin. So 3 meditations in a row. So I don't take a break. I'll do 3 Orins. I sit on a couch upright, and after like an hour, you know, you get a little more tired, maybe more kind of into the state of being really calm. And then the third eye opens. But when it opens, that's a whole new story. So first you might see something spinning or feel a spinning motion. And I'll speak about if the astral realm is dangerous or not. It used to be very dangerous. Absolutely would not want to be in the astral realm when it was so dangerous until 2020. Very dirty, and you would have to be in a very, very high energy to be able to go through the dirt. Things have really changed though. I want to say I have not encountered any dirt in the astral realm since 2020. And the reason for that is that the whole astral realm was the first thing that got rebuilt around the earth. So, but again, I'm teaching something that I have practiced so much. It works. Doesn't always work because, you know, sometimes we don't have the energy. We have not gathered enough energy. Sometimes it's very, very easy. So again, it's practice. You might start noticing, and maybe while you meditate, you might already notice a spinning kind of sensation in your third eye. So let's say I'm sitting in my meditation, I'm focusing on the third eye from within, I'm listening to Orin, I'm doing my deep breathing, and suddenly I have a feeling that something is spinning in my third eye. Next thing, you kind of go with that spinning motion. And what you might see very often is actually the galaxy or universe. Cannot tell you if it is the Milky Way or not. In this case, this might be the Milky Way. But that is what you might see. You might see just kind of darkness with stars. And that is a great sign. And that is that you see you see into creation, you see into the body of the cosmic mother. Now, what happens to most people in this case, they kind of get shocked. That's what I always hear. And then they pull out of this experience and go back to, you know, the present consciousness. But the idea is that instead of being kind of surprised by it, we go deeper into it. Definitely, it's practice. So, you know, it's a lot of strain, right, on the eyes, keeping the eyes on the third eye. But again, with practice, everything gets so much easier. So if you ever sit in meditation, maybe listening to Orin, and maybe you go really deep and you start feeling the spinning, the idea is to go with it. So instead of pulling away from it, you go through the tunnel. Yeah. And yeah, Jillian, the idea is not to actually pull back from it, but to go into it. So then you enter through this amazing portal that is within you. It is your own portal. It is your spiritual seeing. And you kind of, yeah, jump in. And you go in. Yeah, I totally get it, Christina. That's exactly what it is. You know, it's the challenge is to relax into it. And that's why Divine Mother says, relax. So once you relax into the spinning and you see the stars, another opening happens and you see the light at the end of this. And suddenly you see into higher dimensions. And that's it. Once you see into higher dimensions, it really depends on how long you can hold that amazing focus and relaxation, because it truly is relaxation. So everything is practice. You know, I started to meditate when I was 13. And if I had given up when I was 14, I would never be here able to tell you, you know, keep going, because the reward is sweet. And what is the purpose of our life? It is keep expanding, keep expanding, keep expanding. And so the practice, you know, Divine Mother, Yogananda spoke about it too quite a bit. the darkness of the universe, of course. How can you have stars, right? Like, you will see universe itself, you will see the galaxies, you will see the stars. So basically you are looking into the body of the mother. So the way that I practice at night, if I want to do this all is expansion, always an expansion. If you feel dizzy, you stop, you just know exactly what to do with your own body, right? So you want to just do whatever feels right to you. I'm just sharing the technique that I've learned from, I guess, my guides. So the other part, if you are doing it at night, you want to be laying on your back. That's, I really truly believe, and this is not a memory that I have, even though we all have past lives in Egypt. But when they created the mummies, they did it, I believe, so that the spirit, the soul, the life force, all of it can easily flow out, because it actually really, really easily can flow out and expand. We are going into expansion of our own being. And so as you lay on your back, if you are a back sleeper, it helps. If you're not and you are awake, try it laying on your back. And just again, as you lay there, I always put something over my eyes, whatever it is, nothing too heavy, maybe a very light silk scarf, maybe an eye mask, whatever you have that feels right. So, yeah. And thank you, Lucrecia, for also managing the chat so I can explain this. So as you lay on your back, there is something quite important about your skeleton. Divine Mother always explains to us that within our body, there are 12 systems. I mean, it's a very strange coincidence when you think about the 12 aspects of divinity. So each system is connected really to our divine self. And one of the important systems within us that Divine Mother specifically always spoke about to me is our skeleton. Our skeleton, and we had native tribes, right, that considered the bones to be sacred. Well, there is energy that runs through our skeleton, and this energy is really important, and we want to harness it. That's why we do stretching before we do these practices, because we are engaging our spinal cord, we are engaging the bones in our body, we are engaging our nervous system. And so this is the method that I have been using to expand quite a bit. And with this expansion, of course, I see some comments. Only do it when you feel comfortable. Only do it when you feel in good hands of your divine self. If you have fear, don't do it, because fear is, the energy of our mental body and emotional body. And then when we expand, we would have to see our own fear. We don't want to see our own fear. It's not pretty, I have to tell you. So I just say this is a very safe practice given to us. And that is, as you lay on your back, you want to have a pillow that does not lift your neck or your head too high up. You see how there is an alignment. We want to have this kind of alignment, as funny as it might sound. And so, perfect alignment. I usually put my arms next to my body and I lift my palms up to receive life force, but in a very relaxed state. And then again, you engage your deep breathing through your spine, in and out. You knock on your forehead a few times to activate the third eye. And you start chanting Om into your third eye. And even if nothing happens, I have to say, this is a great way to spend your awake moments in the middle of the night instead of thinking about stuff. So I don't think about stuff if I wake up in the middle of the night. If it happens, I just chant Om, focus on the third eye, and allow this to take me to the next, to the next, to the next. So for some people, you already have traveled out of your body, you might feel a floating sensation. And I'm not saying that you have to, but I want you to understand what happens. Some people will start feeling falling sensation. Some people will feel like maybe their leg or arm are floating up. Some people will really feel intense falling. Some people will feel like they are rolling out of body. Some people will feel lifting. Some people will even backflip. it really doesn't matter. But if any of this happens to you, just know you are really becoming aware of yourself as a multidimensional being. So trust your divine self. I never stop chanting Om when this happens. And this is how I have, for example, traveled through the 12 dimensions and can tell you quite a bit about it. Yeah. So again, and I recently discovered that I can actually do a headstand when I come out of body, and that moves the Kundalini straight into the head center. So I don't know if any of you already do this, but personally, I trust that I'm already filled with divine energy that is the protection. But I want to mention, for those of you who are interested, the astral sphere used to be a very dangerous place, because you would have so much trapped energy. And yes, you could go to nice astral places, but also sometimes you would see things that are not so pretty. And so as this was restructured in 2020, things have changed. Om is definitely a protection. Om will always move you, and it will move you through dimensions higher and higher and higher and higher. So, and again, you know, this is not our goal. I don't want to say the goal is to do all of this. No, the goal is very simple. The goal is to actually keep doing whatever it takes to activate yourself consciously on every level of your being, because we want to be fully activated. And to me, if I should choose between traveling out of body and having fun in other dimensions, or being here and meditating every day and really expanding the heart, I would choose being here every day and expand the heart. So again, you know, putting it into perspective, let's not make it our goal. But if it starts happening to you, just so that you know what's happening, because it might happen. So when it started to happen to my husband, you know, he was equipped knowing, oh, this is what it feels like. Oh, this is what I need to do. Oh, now I need to chant Om, you know, so that, you know, surprised by what might happen. It is you expanding into more of yourself, really. And so we have a few more minutes. I wanted to speak about the expansion that actually happens in these dimensions. So since you exist really in all 12 dimensions that are within you, it is all within your multidimensional spine, I want to tell you a little bit about the design of these dimensions and why this one probably seems like a big contraction. So we are in a so-called third dimension with access to the fourth and the fifth. That's really how it would be explained when you look at the floors, the kind of, you know, the tower within us. Each dimension is, I would say, more contracted, more dense, but dense not meaning like dirty or difficult, but simply the time-space reality is a little tighter. And the opening to the divine truth, to the divine realization, to the revelation is actually smaller. And then the higher you go, the bigger the opening to the divine realization, to the purpose of all things. So you can imagine when you are here in this dimension, we have to really work quite hard to restore the knowing, to remember, to realize the self-realization process. It seems like a lot of work, but it is designed this way at the moment. Things will change, but at the moment, we are asked to become the best version of our being in here and right now. And that gives us realization. But the realization itself is not as important as being the highest version of yourself. So the highest version of yourself. How do we become the highest version of ourselves right here, right now? When we go higher, the opening gets bigger and bigger and bigger the higher we go. But from what I've seen, only in the 11th dimension, we have a full-blown realization of creation. We can see it all, and yet we can't touch it just yet. It's like seeing through glass kind of window, but the glass is everywhere. The walls are glass, the ceiling is glass, everything is glass. You can see it. You can see it all the time. You understand it from seeing it, but you are not yet completely one with it. Because if you were to become one with it, you would have to merge with the cosmic tree of life, which is in the 12th dimension. And there's no more a person. It is no more a self. You become one with creation. You merge back into oneness with source. And this is from experience. You lose your individuality. So you have your individuality in every dimension, which is pretty incredible. So I always say, if you want some advice, go to your own self in the 11th dimension, sit down with that perfect version of you that already has done it all, seen it all, embodied it all, and is you. So why wouldn't you give advice to yourself? So if I need anything, I go to the 11th dimension and chit chat with my highest self. And so this is pretty much it for today. And tomorrow we will be taking a quantum leap. So if you already want to have this audio, again, we work with Oren and Daben quite a bit. And Oren has a beautiful, beautiful meditation called Taking a Quantum Leap. We want to be taking quantum leaps. I'm all about quantum leaps. This meditation, if you download it from Oren, is $7. Pretty amazing. I encourage everyone to do it. And again, we will be tomorrow practicing more meditations, more breathing, and quantum leaping. And I wanted to say one more thing so that you know the purpose of your being here from a very multidimensional experience. So we are in a reality of time and space, but also Divine Mother speaks about eternity. What is the present moment as eternity, and that it's not the now. Because if we say now, that would mean that there is past, present, and future. But actually in her world, there is only eternity, which is the now, the now. And so as we always use life force, as you remember, we use life force in every single moment. When we inhale life force, we also have to exhale life force. And when we exhale life force, we have created something. And we want to be creating beauty, of course. But we also are part of a collective that has not been exhaling beauty, harmony, and love and oneness for a very long time. And so humanity always creates possible futures. We have possible futures. And again, you know, there's the eternity, but possible futures do exist. Now, as far as I know, we still have 4 possible futures. And because you and me, we also do travel, whether you know it or not, through time and space, then let's imagine that we were somewhere in the future and we could see the 4 possibilities. And so we said, well, only one of them really can work and bring beauty, harmony, peace, oneness, and elevation to humanity. Let us quickly go back to the moment when humanity has to make choice. And let us make sure that humanity in this now chooses the right future. And so today, maybe you are a time traveler who came from the future to be here now, to change the present, change the past really, so that the future is the future of Cosmic Mother Nature and nothing else. And so that is our mission in a way. So thank you so much for being here. Once again, I'll upload this to YouTube, and tomorrow it's going to be same time, same place. Today repeated at 5 p.m. Pacific. And tomorrow we will be quantum leaping together. So thank you so much for all your love, for all the beautiful sharings, and for your practicing and embodying.